Namaste viewers, welcome to Gnana Degula channel. Today we will try to understand or try to see the purpose of this Kaivalya Pada, that is from the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. There are 4 padas. Let us try to understand the 4th section, that is the 4th pada, that is Kaivalya Pada. It is called as Kaivalya Pada. What are its how it is relevant, whether it is relevant to all age groups, or what does it exactly talk about, this 4th pada. So before we go to the details, I request you to please like, share and then subscribe to my channel. This Kaivalya Pada is the path to ultimate freedom. You can call it as Kaivalya Pada, path to freedom. This is the 4th chapter of the Yoga Sutra. Now, Kaivalya means what? Kaivalya means absolute freedom. You are not suffering. You are isolated from suffering. You are liberated from all limitations of the thoughts, mind and matter. You are all liberated from that. You are not at all being no more attached to all those kinds of things. So the purpose of this Kaivalya Pada of this Patanjali Sutra is to explain the deepest truths, the deepest aspects of yoga, consciousness, transformation and liberation. So the earlier chapters deal with practices, discipline, experiences, so many things. But Kaivalya Pada finally explains the result. It explains the final result, complete spiritual freedom, how it is. Like this it explains. Now, again we will reiterate what is Kaivalya. Kaivalya is the state of pure self, that is Purusha. He is no longer entangled with the mind. He is no longer entangled with the body. He is no longer entangled with the world. That is, he means I-ness, that Paramatma or Atma. That is how it is. Purusha means Atma here. It is the freedom from rebirth. So he does not, only if you are born, you are attached. If you don't be born again, you are not attached at all. That is how philosophy, Vedanta looks at it. Looks at this freedom. Then freedom from ego, I-ness, I, me, like this, that ego. And then freedom from karma, what I am doing, whatever I have done. See, because karma theory is prima facie, that is the thing, which makes us to be reborn. And suffering also, all kinds of sufferings. The suffering could be even good, bad, all kinds of sufferings. So this is freedom from all these things. So to give an example, say a light bulb, if it is covered with layers of cloth, if you remove those cloths, it shines in its own glory. That is Kaivalya. That is how you can, very crudely you can understand that. So that is setting oneself free from all veils, that is Kaivalya. So this chapter is important because it answers a lot of questions. Like, everybody has, every spiritual seeker or whoever it is, even a common man has a lot of questions. Like, who am I beyond my mind? What is the true cause of suffering? Can spiritual powers distract me? How does freedom happen? Is the universal real or an illusion? All these kinds of things, it answers. It also reminds us that yoga is not about gaining power. See, yoga means I am getting that physical strength. When I do some exercises, when I do some yogic exercises or do pranayama, things like so many things, Yoga is not about gaining power, strength. or your health and all those things, okay, that is a byproduct. But yoga per se is not about gaining power. It is about removing all that blocks the self, all that blocks the self from shining. The self within, it is shining. That is all stumbling blocks. It is yoga is that removing all those blocks. So some people, Ashta Siddhi and all those, they are all Siddhis. They are only, they are not the purpose of that yoga. It's only incidental, and then it's a byproduct. When somebody does all these things, he gets these kinds of powers. That is only byproduct. That's only incidental. But the final purpose is not that. The final purpose is removing all that blocks the self from shining. This is yoga. That one has to understand. Yoga means normally it is understood, I do that yoga, I do that pranayam, I do this all kinds of asanas. So all these things, okay, they keep your body fit and all those things. But that is not the purpose of yoga. The purpose of yoga is totally different. Anyway, how does Kaivalya happen? This is said in this 4th chapter. These are things that are discussed. Kaivalya is not created. It is not something that is coming there. It is already there. It is revealed. It is there. You you discover that. That's all. It's already there. You don't become free. You are always free. You are always free. Just covered by mind, ego, desires and ignorance, you did not know that you are free. That's how it is, Kaivalya. So Patanjali explains, by removing the impurities of the mind, he calls them impurities, whatever that your ego, that emotions or whatever we have, that he calls them as impurities, kalmashaha. By removing that, by understanding how karma and thoughts shape our experience, by staying detached from siddhis, powers and ego. This is important. We always cling to our power. Na? I was such and such a person. I am so and so. I was born like this. I have been in this society. All these things, we attach. Namarupas. I was a big man. So these siddhis, okay, they are all there, but you have to stay detached from these siddhis, powers and ego. The siddhis could be all many kinds, relating to this world, relating certain things beyond extra, you may call it as supernatural power, something like that. But he says you have to be detached from all these siddhis, and by living in pure awareness, Purusha, that is pure awareness. Like many saints, they have lived. Ramakrishna Paramahansa, so many people have lived. So this kind of thing, this is what Kaivalya, he means. You become established in Kaivalya, your eternal blissful state, self. That is what it discusses. So important themes of Kaivalya Pada, that is chapter 4, is Siddhis, mystic powers. Some people will have a lot of mystic powers, some people will have great powers. Powers are byproducts of spiritual practice. They are only byproducts. They can be distractive. Like, they can distractions if the ego clings to them. See, supposing if I think that I have done this, I am having this power, I am this, I am that, it is a distraction. So Siddhis, okay, you may have Siddhi, but you should not attach that to yourself. That is what the Kaivalya Pada discusses. And it discusses the nature of mind, chitta. The mind is not the self. It reflects experiences, but it is ever changing. And karma and samsara, our actions leave imprints. Whatever we do, it leaves certain small imprints. That Kaivalya happens when these imprints are exhausted, when these imprints are removed, when these imprints are burnt away. Then it discusses about Prakriti and Purusha. Nature is Prakriti, evolves for the experience of the soul, Purusha. So just understand this thing. Nature evolves, Prakriti evolves for the experience of the soul. Soul is here, Purusha. Once Purusha realizes its separateness, it is freed. So, liberation. What is that Kaivalya? Final liberation is freedom from all causes of rebirth and complete resting in the self. This is what it discusses. So how can people of different age groups, many people, how is it useful to everybody? All this thing. How is it useful? So, even for youngsters, think of Kaivalya as becoming the best version of yourself, not by adding more stuff, but by removing what's not you. Fear, anger, stress. These are all not you. So all these things it can remove. Yoga helps you shine like your real self, calm and full of glory. This is how for youngsters it is useful. For adults, life gets stressful with duties, roles, so many things. Kaivalya reminds us that peace is within and freedom lies in understanding our true identity beyond the roles we play. We have to play our roles. It's not that we have to run away from the roles. You play your roles and then keep calm. That is what it says. It teaches mental clarity and detachment from suffering. Whatever the outcome from your the roles you play, you have to be detached from that. That is for adults. For elders, of course, Kaivalya gives the assurance that you are not your body and your past. Whatever past has gone, that's gone. The soul is eternal. Yoga leads you back home to your unshaken, peaceful self. This is what the message for elders. So, when does Kaivalya happen? When the mind becomes totally pure, when there is no more karmic seeds left, when one sees the self as separate from all activity, when detachment becomes natural and effortless, all these things, it's the final blooming flower of all spiritual practices. So there are a lot of sutras, key sutras. The first one, mystic powers can come from birth, drugs, mantra, tapas, samadhi, but don't mistake them for the goal. Then the third sutra, external efforts don't cause growth. It only removes obstacles like a farmer clears the field. Then the seventh sutra, the karma of yogi is neither white nor black. Karma of yogi is, there's nothing like good, bad. It becomes neutral. Like karma, a person, whatever he does, yoga, the person, yogi or ascetic, whatever he does, it is neither good nor bad. It is just, it has happened, that's all. It is neutral in its nature. This is what it tells. Then when the mind has no purpose to serve Purusha anymore, Kaivalya happens. Pure aloneness is the self. These are all things that are discussed in. So, what we can learn from Kaivalya Pada is, your real nature is free. You are not your thoughts, feelings and body. The mind is useful tool, but not your identity. Freedom lies in disentangling from illusion, not in running away from life. Detachment, discernment and deep meditation are the tools. These are all the things that are being discussed in this Kaivalya Pada. So, viewers, with this we conclude this introduction to this Kaivalya Pada of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. I hope this was quite interesting and then quite useful. Please like, share and then subscribe to my channel. Please go through the video completely and then post your comments in the comment box. Thank you, viewers.